Welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how great backdoor is in Toyotas, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler. And joining me on this another amazing episode of the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast, where we talk about nothing but backdoor chocolate thunders, is Mr. Jimmy Hydrojet. Mr. Jimmy Chocolate Thunder Jet, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. Is that so? We're doing King of the Hammers episode right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Monday Fun Day.
374.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of episodes.
It is a lot of episodes.
It's a lot of episodes.
It's crazy.
I know. We're coming up on 375.
Yeah.
Are we going to have a special because it's like an even number?
375?
No, I guess it's not. It's like,
try again.
It's an even 25 number.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. I don't know.
I don't think we have anything special planned.
Okay. I think we were trying to get something special planned.
I don't know if it's in the works yet or not. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see.
The listeners will find out on Thursday.
Yeah. But this is Monday, so we have a fun topic for everybody.
We do. What is it?
Chocolate Thunder and hot dogs at Backdoor. I really hope everybody's gone and listened to that episode by now.
Man. I have so many questions and I don't know how to ask them.
Okay. So, man, what do we got? Let's see. We got some housekeeping to do before we get into the campfire discussion that we get to have here around this lovely campfire in the studio. Let's see. We have a giveaway for the month of February.
That we do. And it's all next to you right there.
It is down over here. I can't talk on the microphone and look at it at the same time. I went back to using the stand. But yeah, we got some good stuff there from Lawless Corey.
That we do.
Mm-hmm.
Big thanks to him.
That's a fun name, I think.
You like it?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think his other name flowed a little bit better. Lawless Corey doesn't seem to flow as well to me. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's just because you've known him as the other one for so long.
But that could be.
And then you had a name change on us.
I know. Like you got married or something.
Yeah, it's weird. So yeah, we got some goodies down here. Some lights from Coast Lighting. We've got some consumables, abrasives, and cutting discs are those the ones from Steel or?
Right.
Walter. That's what it was. Those are the ones from Walter. And then a bunch of other little fun goodies there. So the grand total for this month's giveaway is about $250 in some really cool stuff that I wish that I could have. Corey. I like lights.
You got something.
I did
for the Forerunner for the assist or secretary.
The secretary got something for the Forerunner.
Yeah,
I didn't.
No,
all I got was a straightened slider,
which I want to find out later if it got de-straightened.
No, not that I know of.
Oh, you can still open the door?
I can still open the door. Yeah.
Impressive. Okay.
Yeah, I know. So anyways, we got some fun giveaway items for a lucky wiener for the month of February here. So if you guys want to get entered for that, make sure you head over to irate4x4.com and go down to the Snail Trail 4x4 forum. And there's some fun sign up options there for a $5 tier, $10 tier, and annuals on those as well. And just a heads up, for those of you out there that were doing annual through Patreon, I guess we may have mentioned this in the last episode, but we can mention it again. If you're doing an annual through Patreon, or you were doing an annual through Patreon and it ended, like you did a one-time annual payment rather than a recurring payment, you could no longer sign up on Patreon. There were 3 of you that did that last year. You did a one-time payment. So everybody, if you're doing that, go check your Patreons. If you're no longer signed up on Patreon, come over to Irate 4x4. We'd love to have you.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
It's fun over here.
It is. It's a lot more funner. So
you got to hang out with Mr. Irate 4x4
and Mrs. Irate 4x4.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah. So we'll get into that. They're really cool people.
Yes.
So anyways, go over to Irate 4x4. Make sure you're signed up. If you'd like to make the switch from Patreon to Irate, please do. It'll save us a lot of time.
And headache.
So if you have any questions on how to do that, please get in touch with us. We'll help you do it. So Yeah.
There's only 10 people on Patreon.
I think it was 15.
15 people on Patreon.
Left, yeah.
15 people left. Some of them still have reoccurring payments, but some of them are still monthly.
Yep.
So yeah. So hopefully we can persuade those last 15 to get over to irate 4x4. And then we can do the giveaways at the beginning of the month.
I know. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Just do it on the first episode of the month each month.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do have an excellent giveaway for you guys. Flashlights, some consumables. We've got some tapes. We've got some other swag over there as well. Some of that is not in the giveaway. I know. Okay.
Yep.
So if you want to get in for that, just jump over to irate 4x4. If you're on mobile, it's down at the bottom sign up sheet. And if you're on the desktop, it's over on the right side.
Yep. Awesome stuff, man. Let's see. We did all the birthdays and everything last Thursday.
Yep.
So if you did not pay attention to that, you can go back and listen in on all those guys. And the winners from January's giveaway are mentioned back there as well. So let's see, what else can we do here? Is there more stuff we can do?
Well, we could do more reviews if we
do a couple more reviews. We are fairly behind on reviews.
We got a lot of stuff to do, I'm sure. We could talk about everything you broke.
I didn't break anything.
No hearts.
I did break a couple of hearts. Yeah. Okay. That's what I do. Yeah. It's my nickname.
Okay.
Heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker Larson.
Heartbreaker Larson. Oh man. No, let's go right on over to campfire discussion.
Sounds good to me.
Let's talk about the week and how hammers went. It was one hell of a week. So I guess without further ado, we'll listen to a few words here from Mr. Brian, Mr. Four Wheel Underground himself, and then we'll be right on back with today's campfire discussion.
At 4 Wheel Underground, we don't do DIY kits. With 26 years of experience, we've designed and engineered suspension geometry for maximum performance and predictability on and off-road, so that you don't have to. Check out 4 Wheel Underground to find the best engineered Toyota suspension solutions at 4wheelunderground.com.
Welcome back, ladies and germ ladies. We are back with the campfire discussion for Monday's episode today, which is kind of a recap of how Hammers was.
Yeah.
How King of the Hammers down at lovely, beautiful, scenic Johnson Valley, California.
How was it?
It's not really beautiful or it's super scenic. It's just
brown.
A giant brown dust cloud.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing.
Dude,
I heard it was pretty freaking dusty and sandy this year.
Super. There was like no wind this year.
Except on Ultra4 on 4400 race day.
Yeah, it was weird. The 4400 race day, a couple of big winds came up, but it was still like not consistently windy all day.
Oh, interesting.
The Sunday before, so Sunday of the trophy truck race weekend, that was like hurricane winds coming through apparently.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, people were saying that trailers were shaking around good on Sunday, and they canceled the dinner night on Sunday.
Oh,
because they just nobody wanted to be in the tent with everything flying around. So
bummer.
Yeah, hurricane force winds on Sunday, and then I showed up on Monday and brought all the great weather with me.
Yeah, quiet and still, and nothing exciting happening. No rain, snow.
Yeah,
just cold and dry and still.
Yep. Yeah, and that's pretty much how it was all week.
How Heartbreaker Larson is.
That's how I am, man.
Cold, dry, and still.
Cold, dry, and still. Oh, that's awesome. That's funny. There's another t-shirt for everybody out there.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for to get an email now from Murphy.
HR?
So, yeah, from HR. Yeah, Murphy's the new HR.
I'm working on a product with Murphy right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're working on custom Snail Trail 4x4 Cruise Moab stickers.
Oh, that'll be cool.
And I'll get 100 or so printed up that I can just hand out at Cruise Moab.
Yeah.
And so it'll sort of be a date time stamp. And then so if I see anybody out and about, out and around that has that sticker on, I'll know exactly
where
they got it. And where we were at the time, and we can reminisce if we wanted. But nice. Yeah, I thought it'd be fun to kind of do some events that I go out to this year, or we go out to, that we can just bring some sort of small custom stickers out and just hand those out, as well as Snail Trail 4x4 standard stickers. But yeah.
Nice. Sweet. Yeah, that'll be really fun. Cruise Moab's definitely coming up soon. So
I know.
Yeah, it's coming up quick. I need to get the house all figured out.
Yeah, I've got the Bobcat up on jack stands right now. So
yeah, we'll talk about that in maybe
Thursday's episode.
Last Thursday's episode.
Yeah. Sort of doing things backwards today.
Yeah, my bad. So yeah, we had the weather was great out at Johnson Valley. Monday through Friday was it was dry and cold. It was below freezing in the mornings.
Wow.
But it warmed up to like 70, 75 degrees.
Oh, nice.
Each day in the afternoon with like almost no wind. So I didn't need goggles a lot of the time. I think I only wore them once. I think that was on Saturday. And then, t-shirts and shorts in the afternoons. And then you bundle up into all the heavy warm gear in the evenings and the mornings. So yeah.
Sounds about normal for that area.
Yep.
Cool. So you left, but okay. So let's back up even farther. Before you left, you had a purchase.
Oh yeah, I did. I forgot about that. I mean, yes, I did.
So what did you buy?
I bought some food.
Yeah.
And beer.
Yes.
No.
And
actually,
some wood.
I didn't actually buy any of that.
You didn't buy food or beer?
On the way down, we did, not before I left.
Oh, okay. You did buy some wood before you left, though.
I guess, yeah.
I heard you lit it on fire.
Huh?
I heard you lit it on fire.
Lee Lim lit it on fire.
Okay.
Yes. So. Yeah, Lee Lim lit my trailer deck on fire. So yeah, I bought a new trailer.
Yay! Congratulations. Welcome to the trailer queen life.
Yeah. I was just getting to the point where I felt like I was borrowing trailers from people, mainly you and another person, more often than they were really using the trailers, like combined. Like, so I was like, I'm borrowing too much. I need to just go get my own stuff. So,
so what'd you end up getting?
I got a 18-foot deck over trailer. So the deck is over the tires.
Right.
18-foot, 10,000 pound capacity.
Yeah, 9999.
99999. So that there's So I don't need an extra license.
Stupid rule here in California. If you have a over 10,000 pound capacity trailer, then you have to have a Class A license.
A special license. I forget which one it is.
Yeah, one of the licenses to be able to tow that much weight.
Yes.
And so like my trailer, I think it's rated at 9,950 pounds.
Okay.
Is what it's on paper. Right? But I think it has two 7,000 pound axles.
Oh, geez. Wow. Mine has two 5,000 pound, like the 5,500 pound axles.
Yeah.
Which is still like 1,100 pound total. But yeah, so I got a trailer. It is, I don't remember the brand. I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's a really kind of generic name brand. It's like Trailers Plus or something like that. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's a 10,000 pound trailer. It's not as nice as a PJ or a buggy hauler or something like that with drive over fenders. But the main reason why I wanted the deck over is because I didn't want to spend the money on drive over fender trailers because they're expensive.
Yeah.
And because my Forerunner, after the axle and suspension get done, is going to be like 88 inches wide.
Right.
And most of the fenders like 84 inside. It is like the biggest you can get inside of the fenders.
Yeah. I don't, my PJ is supposedly inside to inside of the wheel well.
Yep.
Or the trailer.
The wheel well.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you would have to drive over the fenders.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. My PJ is 1 to 2 inches short of 8 feet.
Inside of the fender.
Total width.
Yeah. Oh, total width.
Yeah.
Not just inside the fenders.
Correct.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Total width. I think the rule, once again, I think the rule in California, I don't know if this is a rule outside of California, but the rule in California is no vehicle can be wider than 8 or nothing can be wider than 8 feet wide.
Gotcha.
Or you need an over wide or overflow sign on the back of you or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I know that mine's just barely inside of that.
Gotcha. Mine is 102 inches, 102.2, I think, deck over, which is supposed to be like 8 feet is 96. That's 8.5 feet. Interesting.
You need a wide load sticker.
I might need a wide load sticker.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. I think mine's around 94 or something like that.
Okay.
I'll have to go measure it now that you were talking about that.
Yeah.
I'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
So anyways, I got it. It's definitely not as nice as a PJ trailer. Oh, I wanted the deck over mainly specifically the 4Runner. I didn't want to have to, build drive over fenders. And B, I've been using trailers a lot for work, for more flight. And so I wanted to be able to just have something that I can take a forklift and drop a pallet on without having to worry about the fenders in the way.
Sure.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
So I was like, that's kind of a dual purpose trailer. It works well. The center of gravity is definitely higher. I can tell that when I'm driving, but you just don't drive like an idiot then at that point.
And your rig is tall.
And the 4Runner's tall. Yeah.
I wonder what the total height is.
That's a good question. It's tall. It's really tall.
Bet. I think most overpasses in California are 14 feet.
I'm under that.
I'm sure you are, but I'm just saying your antennas scrape maybe.
I'm probably, the antennas smack the overpasses I'm going under.
I think a drive over or what'd you call it?
A deck over?
A deck over is a pretty good idea for you right now in your situation.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part if you bought a drive over fender trailer and now you're going to redo your axles, you don't know really where a good balance point is on the trailer that when you buy it.
Yeah.
Right. It would be really good for you if you did eventually go to a drive over fender style to put your truck onto the trailer and see where it sits and see if it sits in a good position for those drive over fenders, or else maybe you're driving over the fenders, but your tires are up on the top.
Oh, you've got to park on top of the fenders for the balance of the trailer.
Balance spot for the trailer.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
When you were going to get that one, I was like, oh, you should probably get the drive over fenders, because then your whole rig would be lower. Everything's down low. And then I was like, actually, it's probably, you don't know where your rig's going to be set up here in the future.
Yeah.
You don't know where it's going to sit. So that the deck over the axles or over the tires is probably a good idea.
Yeah. The other main reason why I wanted a deck over is because there's a shit ton of space under the deck.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And so I'm going to build some lockable storage boxes into the deck of the trailer.
That's cool.
So that'll be down the list of something to do and build in there. So
is it a complete wood deck on the top, or is there any metal?
There's metal on the outsides, like the frame.
Sure.
But yeah, on the deck itself, it's all wood.
Okay. So the drive over fender section isn't a metal section. Okay.
Yeah, it's all
just wood off the top. Cool. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to the club.
Yep.
Boats trailers aren't just for boats.
They still are. I'm still going to stick to that. So.
All right. We got a new name for Kermit.
Yeah.
It's a boat.
It's now getting re-regged in California as a marine registration.
Yeah. It's a amphibious vehicle.
There we go. Now I'm still going to try and drive Kermit to and from trails as much as possible.
I think it really for me, it comes down to distance.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm going to Moab, I'm going to take the trailer.
Yeah.
If I'm going to the Rubicon or Fordyce, I'll probably drive.
Yeah.
Because we're fortunate to be close enough to be able to do those things.
Spoiled enough.
I don't have all the details here in future casting in a kind of a way, but this weekend I'm driving 3 hours to go camping. And which we talked about on Thursday, but I'm not towing my truck up there. I'm driving Bobcat.
Yeah.
For 3 hours.
So, nice.
Yeah.
You're taking Bobcat to go camping? That's weird.
Yeah. I'm going snow wheeling without you.
You bastard.
You don't know about it yet, though.
I'm going to the Cal 4 convention this weekend. I want to go snow wheeling. Yeah.
Well, we talked about that already.
Okay. That's true. So yeah, we got, let's see. I got the trailer. Had a great smooth trip down. We left Monday about 6:30 a.m.
Before you left, you did some small work on the trailer.
I did. I went to put Kermit up on the trailer and realized that how the tie downs worked with the current configuration of the trailer was not going to work for Kermit.
Yeah.
So I was like, shit, I need to fix this now before we leave. And it was like Sunday at like 3 p.m.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I need to get this done. And so I ran down to Home Depot and found they had 4 of the weld-on tie downs left in the 3,500 pound, 3,700 pound options. That's the biggest that they carry. So I got the 4 of those. 3 of them were black powder coated and 1 was no plating on it whatsoever. No anything on it.
Okay.
Just bare metal. And so I got those and welded them onto the trailer real quick. and they have welded on great. Just had to clean the powder coating off the trailer, clean a little bit of powder coating off of the weld on spots, the little tab brackets that go over the D, the D link. So I welded those on. That all turned out great. And then got Kermit all strapped down and tied onto the trailer. So
yeah. How did the tie downs work?
They worked great. There was perfect position.
Are they my tie downs?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was looking at them like, I'm pretty sure those are mine.
Yeah. I forgot to give you all your straps back when I dropped off the trailer. I also have the keys to your trailer locks.
Oh,
so the spare keys, I should say.
Yeah.
So we need to actually, here we have
you have them right
I
here?
have them right here.
Okay. He's pulling them off his key ring right now.
Ready?
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Thank you. So, yeah, I used your straps. So I need to get them.
3?
How many was there supposed to be?
2, I thought.
Oh, interesting. We'll have to go play around with them now.
The pin and the hitch.
The hitch coupler
and
lock.
then maybe there is 3 because I think I have one for the through the hitch receiver.
Oh, okay.
That locks there too. We'll play with these later.
Okay. So anyways, I got the trailer, loaded up Kermit, did the welding, got the new tabs on, and took off. The fun fact about Ford F-150s. For anybody out there who has an F-150 with the tow packages in them, apparently when you buy those at the dealership, there is a relay and a fuse for the 12-volt hot wire in the 7-pin trailer plugs.
Okay.
And if you buy an F-150 with a tow package from the dealer, they don't put that relay and fuse in the fuse box.
They don't put the fuse in the fuse box.
Or the relay. So all the relays and fuses go in the main fuse box in the F-150s. So what they do is they give it to you, usually in the glove box.
Huh.
I bought my F-150 used, and so I didn't have that relay or fuse in either of those locations.
Right.
And so the battery for the trailer brake was not getting charged. And so I was like, why isn't this getting charged? And I had to go through trying to diagnose the 7-pin connection on the F-150. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? It's not getting power here. And I'm like, well, how do I trace this? I was like, well, let's check fuses. So I had to then pull up the diagram for the fuse box and looked in there and the fuse was missing.
Yeah.
I was like, well, shit. And so I go down and get a fuse, put it in. Still not working. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I start doing some Googling and there's another relay in there too that you have to put in.
Interesting.
So anyways, for everybody out there who is looking to tow with their F-150, you need to make sure that relay and a relay are in your fuse box or else you don't get a hot wire to your trailer.
That would be very necessary if you want brakes.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
All right. So you got a trailer and you loaded it up. And you had to make a few modifications. You loaded it up. And what time did you leave on Monday morning?
About 6:30, 6:45.
All right.
So I came to the warehouse first and the MFers helped me load everything. We took a lot of product down there.
Cool.
Because it was expensive this year to get a booth at Hammers.
Oh, yeah.
It was almost doubled from what it was last year.
Wow.
And so I was like, well, if we're going to go down there, we need to take product and we need to make this, at least break even, see what we can do here.
Right.
And so we loaded up 2 pallets worth of stuff into the F-150 and the 4Runner on the trailer to take down there. Like we maxed out. I'm 99.999% certain that we went over the GVWR of the F-150. So
time for a new truck, huh?
Possibly. So anyways,
or a Sequoia.
Or a Sequoia. That would be nice. It's $90,000.
So is a new truck.
I know. I probably wouldn't get a new one though. I'd probably get a used one since it's just going to be a workhorse. But anyways, left here 6:45 and drove down there and got down there. What time was it? Right about 5 o'clock, 4:45.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So the drive went super smooth, no issues whatsoever. Got about 9 miles a gallon. So wasn't too bad going down. And then once we got there, I got to meet Mario.
Yeah. Mario.
Trailer Mario.
Is that the same guy we had?
Uh-huh.
I didn't. Was his name Mario?
Yeah.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember that.
You were
being his
calling
name.
him Kevin, but I don't know. I just kind of let you do it. I'm just kidding.
I don't remember his name being Mario. I thought it was Kevin. No, just kidding. Okay.
Yep. No,
Mario.
so we met Mario, and
Again.
he got there before we did.
Like last time.
Just like last time. That dude is very punctual. It's fantastic. And so met him at the corner of Boone Road and the highway there, and went on in. He went on in and dropped off the trailer, got us all set up, set everything up, leveled everything, got the generator connected, and gave us all the extra water, the extra fuel. And it was a new trailer this year.
Oh,
A different one.
a different one.
Yeah. So it's similar layout, but the bathroom is nicer.
Okay.
And the bunk beds are double sized beds.
Oh,
So 2
Nice.
bunk beds and each one's a double.
wow.
Yeah. And then the queen up in the front of the trailer. So, it was and it was better insulated. So there's a lot less noise inside the trailer from all
Yeah.
the fireworks outside. And it was a lot warmer, and the heater worked great in it.
Yeah. The heater worked good in the last one.
Yeah. It was just loud.
It was.
But this one, the heater worked great and it was quiet. So
Cool. Well, good for him.
yeah, it was
And
again,
you, I guess.
yeah, it was a really nice way to do hammers,
Yes.
is to have a trailer just delivered to lake bed. He delivers it, he picks it up, he does all the cleaning, he dumps it, everything. And he gives a great price and a phenomenal service for it all too.
Yeah. And we originally found him through Outdoorsy.
Outdoorsly. Outdoorsly. Yeah.
I had a lot of people before King of the Hammers reach out to me going, hey, you guys rented a trailer and it was dropped off last year. Who'd you get it through? Yeah,
Yep.
it was Outdoorsly.
Yep.
Is where we originally got everything going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I have this guy on speed dial now, and I reach out to him 4 months before hammers and reserve it. So it worked out great again. Another awesome year with having that camper out there. So Monday.
Were you more or less in the same area?
Yeah, pretty much Hammertown Heights Estates. I was up a little further this time from where we were last year, but yeah, Hammertown Heights Estates area right
Cool.
there.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how many people were there in like that group?
Oh my
Guesstimate.
God.
Was pretty much everybody by the time you got there?
Not everybody was there yet, but I would say 80% of the people were there.
Wow.
And we had 75 RVs in our camp area this time. Like, it's getting to the point where we're going to have to start creating blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and
I think we said that last year.
oh, did you?
Well, didn't we? We said we need to start making separate small camps in that
Maybe,
area.
Yeah. So I think that might be on the docket for next year. And somebody recommended we name them after concentration camps.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's just death out there.
That's such a bad idea.
It is a terrible idea, but it was funny.
That doesn't sound like a Heights Estates type of name.
No, that's true. If you want to keep with the theme.
Yeah. You need something like Golden Redwood
Yeah.
or something, not Warsaw.
Right. So anyways, yeah, we had a lot of people out there. The kitchen stadium was amazing again this year.
Like always.
Yeah. They actually rented an actual event booth, tent, like a heavy duty tent this time, and had everything all set up in there. It was great again.
Cool.
2 TVs were set up.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the emails when all that was going on, and
Mm-hmm.
I heard that they rented this massive tent out.
Yeah. The other really cool thing about camp this time was, do you remember Wayne?
Mm-hmm.
Wayne showed up and he brought a Starlink with him.
Oh, yeah.
So not only did he bring a Starlink, but he brought a mesh network of routers.
Oh, that's cool.
With him. And so we had a mesh network set up for our entire camp running off of his Starlink.
No way.
And he was like, I want to test my Starlink. I want to see if we can break it. So he gave the password out to everybody in our camp.
Wow.
Like at one point he said concurrently he had 55 people on the Starlink using it in our camp.
Dang. I know Jason sent me a photo because on one of our previous podcasts, I was like, I hope somebody out there has Starlink because I want to see what the speeds are before the race happens and then during the race.
Yeah.
So I never heard back from Jason though about during the race or during like the Friday, Saturday hoopla
of the crazy days. Okay.
But he sent me pictures of Starlink on February 1st.
Okay. Which is before. That's the couple days before the trophy truck races.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were getting 34 megabits, MP and small b megabits per second.
Yep.
Not bytes, megabytes. I don't know which one that is. So 34. And then they were getting, but they were.
Is that download or upload?
That was latency.
Oh.
They were getting, and then they were getting 62 upload and 41 download.
Wow.
When nobody was there.
Yeah.
So I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I never got reports on how it was during the event, what speeds were being got.
We were able to stream, I think 720 of the race just fine.
That's
in Camp Kitchen with 30 other people using the internet as well.
Right. And what's even crazier, like that's crazy, right? That's insane. But how many other people out there do you think had Starlink?
There was a fuck ton of Starlinks out there.
I bet.
So here's the funny part about Starlink and being out there. King of the Hammers sets up their own internet out there, right? It's not based on Starlink. It's based on something else. I don't know if they're running it on satellite or RF or what they're using. But they set up their own internet down there that they then supply all the vendors with. And, you know, the KOH staff and the KOH media. All of the KOH provided internet didn't work at all, like all week long.
Oh, wow.
And they had techs looking into it. They're like, why the fuck isn't this working? Turns out all the Starlinks on the lake bed were causing so much interference with the KOH's internet. And that's why KOH's internet wasn't working, but all the Starlinks were working.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that
there was
for
that.
The vendors.
Oh, it sucked terrible for the vendors. The vendors paid $700 to have internet down there during the event, and they didn't have really internet
oh my gosh.
during the event. With that, and we learned from a few people that Starlink will throttle your internet. If there's a ton of Starlinks in one area, they'll throttle internet based on mobile devices first. So if you have a quote unquote a mobile Starlink versus a set Starlink that has a home there, they'll throttle the mobile ones first, and then the set ones maintain their full bandwidth. So what people did was they learned that was going to be a thing, and they were able to set their home address there in the middle of the lake bed.
Yeah.
So that when they're there, they don't get throttled at all for their internet when everybody else has their Starlinks there.
That's crazy.
So a few teams were doing that, which I was like, oh, that's clever. Okay. But the Starlinks, from everybody I talked to, the Starlink who had one out there, Austin from iRate had one himself too. And so everybody I talked to that had one out there, absolutely loved it. They had no bad issues, no issues really whatsoever. And for how much we overloaded Wayne's Starlink, I was like, I need one.
Dude.
So
yeah, as much as I like going off-roading to get away from it all. Right. But there's also a sense of necessity to have a way to communicate.
Yeah.
Regardless of the situations that you're in.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure there's ham radio available out there. But if you can make a phone call and call the person you need with an easy access way, then, you know, there's something to be said about that.
100%. And that's kind of that's not really, so I ended up buying one.
Nice.
Thursday morning came around and I was like, this is fucking retarded. Like how well this is working. So I went and ordered one, and it said it was going to be a 2-week shipping for me. And it arrived on my doorstep Saturday morning before I got home.
Well, if you don't mind sharing, what was the overall price?
$700 out the door.
That's not bad.
So, right. It was $500 setup fee. $135 for your first month of internet, and then taxes and shipping maybe on it. So $700 delivered. And with the mobile one, you can turn on and off the internet each month.
Okay.
So you don't have to pay the $135 every single month if you're not using it. You can shut it off after your first month. So like if I'm not going to use it in March, I can just turn it off. And if I do need to use it, then I just pay $135 for the calendar month. So if I turn it on March 16th, I'll still pay $135 for the whole month.
Wow. So is it a huge dish?
No, it's this tiny. It's probably about the size of your laptop, just enclosed.
It's a 15-inch, roughly screened size laptop.
Yeah, roughly. And then it has a little stand bracket that comes off the back, and then a post that goes down, a mast, and then that goes into a base. and that's it. And you have a cable that runs to whatever you're trying to run it into.
I wonder if there's a price difference, monthly price difference for the mobile versus the home.
There is. The home is less expensive. It's $115, $110 a month.
Oh, but not that much.
Yeah. And then the mobile is $135 a month. The equipment cost is the same.
And you can set your mobile as a home. Like
that I don't know. I haven't looked into it that far yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might do this for my house.
Dude, I'm looking at right now. So I've been researching internet prices because I'm moving warehouses here.
Right.
And in order to get internet at the new warehouse, I'm spending $200 a month.
Wow.
So I'm kind of almost debating on getting a home Starlink and just putting it at the new warehouse.
Right.
Instead of running Comcast or AT&T or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I ended up buying one.
Yeah.
And
we're going to label this the Starlink episode.
The Starlink episode, right? Starlinks and trailers. No, so I ended up getting one. And the main reason for me is for the business, right? Because there's a lot of off-road events that we go to that we don't get internet at. Sierra Trek, Winter Fun Fest, we had internet Winter Fun, but it gets sketchy inside the big metal building. King of the Hammers. And so I'm just like, and they wanted to charge $700 for internet that didn't work.
Right. Did they at least refund you some?
I didn't buy it. Oh. We found a way to do it without the internet down there.
Okay.
Without buying their internet. So
cool.
it was definitely a sketchy workaround, and huge shout out to Justin from Factor 55 for making that possible for us. So he loaned me some hardware, some equipment to make that possible.
Okay.
So I need to ship that back to him. But without him, we wouldn't have been able to do any sales down there.
Nice. Wow.
So I'm like, well, they're trying to charge people $700, or I can just pay $135 and have all the internet that I want down there for events and whatnot for business stuff. So it made complete sense to do it. And now I'll also get to play around with it with personal uses when we're not using it for the business. So
yeah, that's rad.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's internet talk.
Internet talk down there. Let's see. Monday was just kind of getting settled in, saying hi to people, driving, getting camp set up for myself.
Yeah. Who'd you bring down?
We brought Emmett for Sean.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So his job all week is to run the booth.
Yep.
And this was my big thing. I've been to Hammers. I think this is my 5th year. I don't remember if it's my 4th or 5th. But every year I've gone down before, I overcommit, right? That's always my problem.
Yeah.
And so last year I went down, I tried to run the booth and volunteer recovery for side-by-side day and try and run race comms for a team and get the equipments all set up and the radio repeaters. And it didn't work out well. I didn't get to really sit down and socialize with people. I was always on the run, always trying to play catch up. And this year I was like, you know what? I'm bringing Sean down. And he's going to run the booth. He gets a paid trip to King of the Hammers out of it all.
Yeah.
And, I'm just going to be able to relax. I didn't do any recovery this year.
No.
So I did no volunteering, no recovering.
Did you do radio?
I did a lot of radio work. Yeah, that was
You should have seen his grimace, ladies and gentlemen. He just became a little kid in a candy store for a second.
I did. So on Tuesday, that was kind of the main goal for Tuesday. We got the booth set up Monday night. And the big thing about Hammers this year, the change for vendors, was that we were not allowed to get our vehicles out of town between the hours of 7 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Okay. So it wasn't, we talked about this probably a little bit off air. There was some confusion on your part because I wasn't in any talks, but the confusion was if you'd ever be able to get your vehicle out once you put it in during the whole week.
Yeah.
But so you were able to get the vehicle out of there sort of during closing hours of Hammertown.
Yeah. Okay. And it makes sense. I get why that rule is there and I understand it and I agree with it. I don't think vehicles should be driving around Hammertown while it's packed full of people during the day.
Yeah.
But the annoying part was it didn't seem like they had a set protocol for when and where the vehicles can come in and out of once the time it allows them to come in and out. And so the first day we went in at 7 a.m. and they said, oh, no, sorry, you can't come in here. And I was like, well, where do we come in then? Are you going to let me in? He goes, yeah, you got to go over to gate 5 and then come in 6. I was like, okay. So gate 5 is kind of like an exterior gate into the pit areas. And then 6 is the one that actually goes into Hammertown. So I was like, okay. And so we went around and drove all the way around Hammertown, did that, came in. And then he goes, yeah, you can come out this way though, when you come out. And I was like, why can I come out this way, but I can't come in this way? I was like, this makes no sense. okay. And so that was the first day. Second day, they told us Wednesday that we had to go in gate 4 and through gate 6. And I was like, that doesn't make any, why can't, like,
why isn't it the same thing?
Yeah, why isn't it the same thing? Just have a set protocol for it. And we came in at like 7:30 because there was still, I mean, Tuesday and Wednesday, it's all qualifying going on. And all the qualifying was going on out at Chocolate Thunder. So like town is empty.
Right.
So I went in at like 7:30, 7:45 on Wednesday. And the security guard looks at his clock is watching, goes, "Oh, you're lucky. You have 15 more minutes and I'm not letting you in here." And I was like, I'm not lucky. I planned that out. Purposefully did that.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody in here right now. But I know that you guys' cutoff for today is 8 a.m. And then on race days, they were told us originally the cutoff time on race days was 7 a.m. But all the teams start lining up through town at 6:45. And so I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
That's bad.
Yeah. So I was like, we're going to get in there at 6:30 to set up and leave. And what we did was we drove the 4Runner and the F-150 in and then left the 4Runner in the booth and drove out in the F-150.
Sure. And
there was reports of product being stolen out of vendors' booths this year at nighttime.
Oh.
Yeah, which is also not good. So each day we had to pack up all the product and take it back to camp with us.
That sucks.
Yeah. And so I'm like, well, we need to get our product in and out of town as well as the 4Runner in and out of town. And so on race days, I was going in at 6:30 to leave the 4Runner and set up product. And on the 4,400 day, we got there like 6:20.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't even let us in like through any gates.
Because you were too early?
I don't know. They said, nope, nobody gets to come in on race day. And I was like, what about the other 2 race days?
Yeah.
I was like, what about Thursday and Friday, the UTV and EMC day? You guys let us in. I was like, looked past and I was like, there's no cars in lining up yet. There's no racers here. There's nobody in town walking around. Like, why can't I need to, you guys are not doing a good enough job at security of keeping things not getting stolen at night. So I need to be able to get in and out during these times. And I'm showing up early because I agree with your rules, and so they made Sean park in the parking lot outside gate 3, and he had to walk
all the product into the booth.
Oh my gosh. And then we didn't have the 4Runner in the booth at all on Saturday.
So it sounds like you weren't supposed to take your vehicle every night.
I specifically talked to Tiara, who is the coordinator for all the vendors, and she said that we could do that. She just wanted to make sure it was before and after certain times. And I was like, hey, no, I get it 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like that message got communicated to the security. I don't know. Anyway, so there's
always some extent of confusion out there on the lake bed, though.
100%. If only they cared about communications at all. I don't know. That'd be a fun thing. Anyway, so yeah, Tuesday was setting up the booth, and then we went up to the top of Fisher and set up the repeater.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. And so I got to ride.
How'd you get up there since the
4Runner
was in the booth?
I got to ride in the Whale.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
The re-rim Whale.
Yeah. How'd that do going up to the top?
It did really freaking well.
Did it?
I was very impressed. It was me, Lee, Nick DeLuca, and Tony.
All in the Whale?
All in the Whale.
That's a full whale.
It was a very full whale.
and all the
repeater equipment, yeah. And so going through, Lee is, likes to be a trophy truck in his FJ80.
I know he does, yeah.
And I will admit that FJ80 rides a lot better through whoops than I would ever think it would.
Oh yeah, really?
And I was very surprised. And Lee gives all the credit to his Kongs. So
I'm gonna put Kongs on the Tacoma.
You should. They work great. I'm after like watching him do it. I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. It's like a bump stop, a super cheap one, but that's all. I mean, that's just what a bump stop is.
Yeah.
Like the Timbren bump stops are pretty much Kongs. Sorry, Timbren.
I think they even make, they say to some extent, like designed after some sort of animal play toy.
Really?
Or something like that in
That's
there.
Funny.
One of the off-road bump stop companies says something along those lines. Like,
that's funny.
Yeah. Because they look like it.
They 100% do. They're like $80 a piece, and you can go down to a pet store and buy Kongs.
They're
for
probably
$10.
different durometers.
Probably,
but if one works, And I bottom, like if I hit something hard enough, there's a ditch over by the Roseville house that if I go fast enough, I will bottom out the rear of the Tacoma.
Oh, okay.
Because I did the U-bolt flip kit. Now the springs are pointed up.
Yeah.
And they will the U-bolts are pointed upwards. The bolt heads of the U-bolt will hit the frame where in the pad where normally there's the bump stop should be hitting that pad. And they were long and then I screwed on another nut. So it was double nutted and then I cut it off at that section of the nut, the top of that nut and then undid them so I could thread it back on.
Yeah.
So there were whatever a lug or a U-bolt nut size higher and I still bottom out. So I need to put some sort of bump stops on there.
Yeah. The Kongs worked a lot better than I thought they would. He's had them on for a while now, and he always talks about how good they are, but I've never ridden in his rig to really make use of the Kongs.
We've been talking about doing it for a little while now, and we just need to make that happen.
Yeah. So I was very impressed, and Lee loves being a Baja pre-runner in his FJ80. So we made it up to the top of Fisher, set up the repeater equipment, and then came back down and kind of hung out for the rest of Tuesday. Had dinner. Nothing really exciting really happened on Tuesday. Qualifying was going on for, I think, UTVs. And then Wednesday was qualifying for EMC and 4400 in the same day.
Oh, wow. Okay. That was a busy day.
It was a very busy day, very early start for qualifying. And since it all happened over at Chocolate Thunder, Hammertown was like empty all day long.
Yeah.
Which a lot of vendors complained about, but I'm also kind of like, yeah, but I mean, part of the allure of coming to Hammers in the first place is watching some of the qualifying. Like qualifying is exciting. And if you could do it on a fun course, like over at Chocolate Thunder, rather than just the infield course that you see from Hammertown, I was like, that's kind of exciting for consumers and people participating. So do it over there. You miss out on one day on sales, but like all the race days, you get your sales back, and like vendors are still bitching about it. I was like, calm down, people.
Yeah, but they could have the same amount of sales on race day. You never know. You got the same amount of volume of sales on race day, but you could have missed out on a day overall.
I don't know.
You think somebody on Wednesday came back and specifically bought something on race day because they were walking around?
I think so. On one of the race days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they were all pretty busy in town.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So did you go over to watch qualifying?
No, I stayed back at camp on Wednesday and watched qualifying from in the kitchen stadium. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I watched some qualifying from the computer as well.
It's almost better. I mean, you're not having to sit out there baking in the sun.
Nah.
You get to watch the entire qualifying run. Whereas like if you're out at Chocolate Thunder, you just get to watch them go through Chocolate Thunder.
Right.
And so there was some freaking spectacular lawn darts and rollovers during the qualifying.
Yes,
right at the finish line of qualifying.
Yeah.
It was really impressive. One of the guys came back. He was doing a media photography, came back and was overviewing some of his pictures. And he got that, it was almost like a triple roll. Okay. Coming down the last part of qualifying, and their cage where the passenger was right above the passenger's head, it hit a rock really hard during the rollover, and it just caved in the whole cage almost like a foot and a half.
Wow.
Right above the passenger's head. And he has a picture of the cage crumpling over the rock, like perfectly while it's hitting that rock.
Is that the WFO car?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember. I don't remember which one was WFO cars, but
there was a lot of rollovers.
There was a lot of rollovers. It was a pretty brutal qualifying course this year. But in that picture, he had such good gear that he caught that moment perfectly as the cage was crumpling on the rock, and the passenger's helmet is contacting the cage.
Really?
During that spot, yeah.
I wonder if they have a headache.
So, I don't know. Like we're like, we want to go check out the helmet and see if there's like marks on the helmet or what. But it was impressive watching the qualifying from the live stream, right? And watching some of the stuff that those cars go through.
The drone pilots.
Dude, yeah.
Dusty Drone and everybody out there that flies those things. Man.
Yeah.
Those things are nuts. I was watching the EMC race and I saw a drone crash.
Oh yeah. Was it the one that like hit the top of the car?
I don't know what it is.
There was one, I don't know, the drone pilot, I don't know if it looked like he was almost trying to land on top of the car while it's moving. And he just got too close and the top of the car hit a whoops and bucked the back of the car up and hit the drone. And then you just see the drone go onto the ground. Yeah. And then they cut the feed away.
Yeah. I saw one. Ian Johnson was talking at the time and he's like, oh, a drone down. It was funny.
Yeah. But yeah, the qualifying was great. I didn't get to see like any of the people I was trying to watch for go through qualifying. I missed like all of them.
Oh, really?
So like Justin Wicks, Trent Roberts, the 4575 didn't qualify. They didn't go through qualifying. That was the Nissan Xterra.
Oh, yeah.
Camacho.
Amber
didn't go through qualifying. And so, yeah, there was a bunch of people that I was like, oh, I want to watch qualifying. And I completely missed them.
Yeah.
I don't remember how I missed them though, because I was sitting there watching it all day. So I don't know. But it was a fun qualifying course. And Wednesday night, I believe, is the night we went out to did the listener run.
Yeah.
Up Fisher.
That I wanted to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
How many rigs were out there? How many people joined you?
We had 10 rigs.
Oh, cool.
In the group, which is, I think, a perfect number for that.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have, I think, 12, but 2 of them didn't go. They were started heading out, and Horton ended up having a really leaky fuel injector.
Oh,
like really, it was bad. And so he figured it out and turned around and went back to camp instead of going up Fisher with us.
That's smart.
I was like, smart guy.
And then so did shoot, I lost his name. His side-by-side buddy.
Pete. Yeah, Pete went back to camp with him.
Back as well.
Yeah.
Pete would have made it up to the top of Fisher in like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. That dude, I don't know how he does the things he does in side-by-sides. It's pretty crazy.
Really crazy.
At one point we were going through Turkey Claw later in the week, and it was just that tight spot where the squeeze rock is, that tight S-turn.
Yeah.
And there was a big holdup there. And so there's like 3 lines getting created to go through that spot. And people were starting to not wanting to wait anymore and turn around, try and come out. And Pete was in one of their ways. So he backed up and then climbed with his UTV front passenger tire up on Horton's tire, and then continued up Horton's cage onto his hood. And so he's like just parked over up on top of Horton's hood in this UTV.
In a single seater.
No, he sold the single seater.
Oh.
He has the dual seater now on 35s.
Okay.
Rather than the single seater on 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing was cool.
Yeah. And so he's just parked up on Horton's hood. And I'm like, I have never seen a UTV get up on a 4x4's tire, let alone up on their hood.
I've seen a UTV go up windshield 1.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that. But like windshield 1 is like, it's a climb though.
Right.
This was full articulation. Yeah. And I was like, it was
all the
impressive.
tires on the ground?
I don't know if the front driver was, I couldn't see it, but the rear passenger was on the ground still.
Wow.
Impressive. So, yeah, I was like, wow. Okay. But anyways, a listener run was a lot of fun. We had 4 rigs, I think, from the Slow County Crawlers.
Cool. Okay.
Yep. So the Borjas were out there.
Both the Jeep and the 4Runner?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
And then a couple of other rigs from their group. Another, it was almost like I think it was a utility bedded mini truck. I think. I don't remember their names. And then there was another 4-door JK or JL. I don't remember their names either. But yeah, they came out, and then we had Austin Stanley, who bought my 22RE and came up here, and we hung out with him at the couple breweries.
Yep.
He came on the listeter run. He got his truck up and running.
He got his truck running?
He did.
Cool. Good for him.
Yeah, it was cool. It's really clever the way he did his taillights. He used KC Cyclone lights, and 3 of them, but he had them set up for red and amber. And then he had diodes set up in the electrical circuit to have just an on light, like your taillights on, versus a brake light, a brighter one.
Oh, neat.
So he used I think it was a resistor and some diodes in order to make that dual powered KC Cyclone light. I was like, that was pretty clever. It was pretty cool.
So does he have a white light, reverse light as well?
That I don't know.
Or just
I know he's got
other lights.
Yeah, he's got blinker, tail lights, and brake lights, and then he also has running lights, chase lights. Sorry. So in the back. So anyways, his truck was cool. He's utility bedded it kind of thing, truggy, almost like a truggied kind of style. But yeah, it's coming along really nicely.
Sweet.
Good
Good
so
for him.
I know that he had a really big push to try and get it done before Hammers and get it out there for his first trip in it.
Nice. Awesome.
So he was out there. Kenny Alger, Alger,
something like that.
came out. He came on the listener run too. He was camped
nice.
with us.
Okay.
Yep. Rim was there.
Mm-hmm. The white whale.
Yep. The white whale. Let's see.
Did Nick drive his rig out?
No, Nick was on vacation, so he didn't want to do any driving whatsoever.
I think that guy likes to live the off-road lifestyle, but doesn't really like driving.
I would agree with that. I think I would agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, anytime that we get into a situation that actually is somewhat technical, he lets somebody else drive his rig.
That's right. Both Lee and I got to drive it through Little Sluice. I don't know. Nobody drove it this week that I know of though. One funny thing about Nick, he was having a really hard time with the remote battery, the remote for the Gladiator, like the keyless entry. Apparently, if it gets below 32 degrees, the remote doesn't turn on at all.
Interesting.
Like the battery has a safety shut off below 32 degrees. In the remote, yeah. Huh. So like he would wake up in the morning, he locks the Gladiator at night,
and then he puts the remote in his sleeping bag to warm up.
No, I think I told him to start doing that, but like he would wake up in the morning and can't get into the Gladiator until like 10 a.m. So we were having a good time with him on that. He got to take a ride with Jay Berry in Jay Berry's Tacoma.
Oh, up the Fisher?
No, just on another day out and about, and they crashed it.
Oh no.
Yes.
With the rooftop tent and all on?
Yeah. It broke out the rear window, cracked the front windshield. Like they were essentially roll? No, they were just going through high speed, playing around through the wash back near Remote Pit 2 area. Yeah. And I guess they came across and there was a cross trail and they jumped it and landed in nose dived into the berm on the other side.
Oh my gosh.
And so they went from Nick says they were going like 70, but Jay Berry's like, nah, it was only like 45, 50. I was like, either way, you go from that fast to an immediate dead stop.
So 60.
Yeah. Right. And it's so it rearranged the roof rack. It put a couple of dents in the roof of the Tacoma because it has pod lights hanging from the roof rack.
Yeah.
As the roof rack came down, it dented the top of the Tacoma. It broke the rear window. The whole camper slid forward into the cab of the truck. And
does he have a Vagabond?
I don't know what he has on there.
It's a pop-up though.
It's a pop-up of some kind.
Yeah. It might be a Vagabond.
Gotcha. So anyways, so Nick crashed earlier in the week. And so he was complaining about his neck the whole week. And I was like, baby, get over it.
Yeah.
Learn how to wear a Hans device. No. So anyways, we went up in the listener run and it was a good run. We had a few other people, like I said, 10 rigs total came up there.
Cool.
And we had a good time, got up there. And what was really rad about going up to Fisher on this particular night, the company was really good. Everybody was having a great time. We had some sodas up there. And the neat thing was that the military base on the other side of Fisher, on the backside, they were doing live fire exercises like the whole week, supposedly.
Oh, wow.
Like there were signs up everywhere that says, stay off the military base this week. They're doing live fire exercise, blah, blah, blah. They were dropping bombs.
No way.
Yes.
Wow.
And so at first you can kind of hear it just poof, 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 poof. Like a really deep, low percussion rather than like the fireworks that are going off in Hammertown, right? So you know that they're different. And then all of a sudden we start looking over in that direction because we can keep hearing them and feeling them. And then all of a sudden you see these lights flying around and then a fucking missile shot off of, I'm assuming it was a helicopter, into the mountainside and exploded on the mountainside.
Wow.
And you saw the explosion and everything. I was like, that was pretty fucking cool.
That's nuts.
So up on top of Fisher Wednesday night with everybody was a lot of fun. We hid a token up there.
Oh.
So we gave Austin a token when he was up here.
Yeah.
At the breweries.
He never hit it.
He never hit it. He's been saving it.
For his first wheeling trip?
First wheeling trip.
Oh, cool.
So we hit it up on top of Fisher somewhere.
Somewhere out there.
Yeah. If somebody wants to go up and find it, there's a token up there for you. So that was a lot of fun. We ended up coming back down and I think we all got back around 11 p.m.
Oh, not too late.
10:30, 11 p.m. back into camp.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was good. Thursday was UTV day, UTV racing day. So all the golf carts get to kind of show off their stuff and see what they can do. I don't remember anything in particular about Thursday. I didn't really watch too much of the golf cart race. So I think a lot of what we were doing Thursday was just kind of getting Amber's car ready and trying to figure out radio comms. That's what I was doing. Trying to figure out radio comms for Amber because so my repeater is a UHF repeater.
Okay. What's that mean?
It means it works in the 450 megahertz area for radio.
Ultra high frequency.
Pretty much every single car down on that lake bed, every race car is outfitted with a VHF radios.
Which is only very high.
Exactly. It's not quite as high as ultra high because Rugged and PCI mainly does all VHF commercial stuff. Rugged apparently does not do any UHF stuff at all.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so PCI does a little bit of UHF stuff, but 90% of what they do is VHF commercial stuff. But my repeater is set up in UHF commercial.
Okay.
So
somebody in their car has radio comms, which can't really get to UHF frequencies.
Can't use the repeater. Yeah. And so going into the week, I had worked it out where I was going to help out Amber with comms and the Wicks with comms.
Right.
And Slauson
okay.
with comms. And so I was like, cool, no problem. My repeater's up there. It's getting awesome coverage. We're getting out to RP1, which is way out in the desert.
Yeah, that's way out there.
We were getting out there just fine.
To get to remote pit 1 for people, you have to drive all the way back out Boone Road, hit the highway, drive up the highway for like 20 minutes.
You almost have to go all the way back to Lucerne.
Oh, really? That far? And then you turn back off towards the lake bed in a way and drive down a dirt road for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's way out there.
It's way out there.
So is remote pit 2. It's out there, but it kind of a different direction. It's like behind Fisher out there.
It's behind Fisher. And that's like the problem. Like if it was just going straight from Hammertown to RP2, 3-4 miles, maybe 5. But because you have to go all the way around the mountain range.
Yeah.
It takes 45 minutes to get out there.
As a bird flies, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, both of them are pretty far out there.
But with the repeater on top of Fisher with the better antenna on it this year, I had great comms all over RP2, Hammertown. I had comms out to RP1. I had great comms through Aftershock, Z-Walk, and a lot of going up and around. Once you get back behind Spooners and Outer Limits, it wasn't too much. We had comms on the entrance and exit of Spooners and Outer Limits, but I never got a chance to check in the canyon, which usually in those canyons, you just don't get anything at all.
Wow.
But then out towards like Melville Lake Bed, we had comms out there.
Wow.
Comms at Emerson. So I was very happy with the performance of the repeater this year. The only problem was that none of the race cars could use it.
Yeah. Because they had a different setup.
They are all on VHF commercials. And
so was that your commercial license that you were running at UHF?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And so once I figured that out, I spent Thursday trying to figure out how to solve that problem. And I figured out that Rugged had some UHF commercial radios with them. So we could use that radio and the teams could buy that radio, put it in the cars really quick before their race days. Or we could
go buy a Kenwood.
I don't remember what option 2 was. Ultimately, what we went with was option 3, where we would have one person at each pit with a VHF commercial capabilities so that they could talk to the car. Whichever pit was closest to the race car could try and talk to the car. And then
so you're playing telephone.
You're playing telephone. And then all the pits could be on the repeater because everybody has a Baofeng handheld. And so that worked out. That's the option we went with. And that worked out really well for Amber and Slauson. Each of the pits were able to reach out to the car just fine. And then all the pits could all talk to each other just fine through the repeater. So that worked out really well. I think next year I'm going to be building a Daniels VHF repeater, and I'm going to take that out there and run that instead of the UHF, or maybe both.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
so can you link those two?
You can link them.
Okay. That's why you would bring both.
Uh-huh.
So you would send from, That's interesting. We'll talk about that another day, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. So
anyways, that was Thursday.
Most of the day Thursday was
problem solving
radios.
that the radio situation.
Yeah.
Friday we had
EMC day.
So Amber was going to line up. Oh, Wednesday night we went, and also Wednesday, was it Wednesday night before? Or was it Thursday night? I think it was Wednesday night. Wednesday evening before the listener run, I went and checked and said hi to Brady and Nestor.
Yeah, okay.
With the Nissan.
And that's
Xterra.
that's what you guys alluded to when you walked into the tent, and it was like chaos going on, but they said they really needed that break.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So went over and hung out with them. So you get to hear about that in that episode. Go check it out from last Monday, I believe.
Yeah, 372.
Yeah. And then so Friday EMC day, Amber was having issues with her intercom communicating with her radio. So when you push the push to talk buttons on the intercom, it wasn't keying up her radio to send the voice signal through to the radio so that her radio could transmit it out to her pits.
Yeah.
And so I kind of looked over and diagnosed things, and I was like, something's up with this interface cable. This needs to get fixed. We need to, and I don't have interface cables with me. I don't have the equipment here to troubleshoot an interface cable. So we need to go talk to Rugged or PCI, whoever you deal with, and see if they can troubleshoot the cable or get you a new cable. And so she went and lined up, and then her co-driver, Tom, went and ran and got the Rugged, and they ran over across Hammertown and started looking at Amber's car. And so I walked up and I was like, hey guys, I'm pretty sure it's this interface cable right here. And they're like, yeah, what makes you think that? And I was like, well, I did this. And they're like, oh, okay. And so they just immediately started going and doing the test that I had already done. I'm like, we already did that. We're running out of time here. Like we just need this interface cable. Do you have an interface cable? And they're like, well, we need to make sure that that's what it is. I was like, 99.999% sure that's what it is. And they just kept working. I was like, all right, whatever. So I just kind of stepped away and let them do their thing. And I went over at that time while I was kind of getting frustrated with them. Brady and Nestor rolled up behind Amber in the Nissan.
Oh, okay.
And so I went over to say hi to them and be like, are you guys ready for today? How's everything going? And that's when Brady was having issues with the low rants.
Oh,
he couldn't get the low rants to stay on.
Right.
And so I was trying to like reach in through the window, which is a super freaking high because it's a tall rig.
Right. Yeah.
And trying to get my hand in there to get to the back of the low rants and mess with the connections. And eventually I couldn't get to it. And I ran off to try and find Steven Lutz, who is down there. He runs Rugged Rocks 4x4, which is a Nissan aftermarket parts vendor.
Oh, okay.
So he runs Rugged Rocks. He does a lot of work with low rances. So I ran off to try and find him, couldn't find him, and tried to come back and tell Nestor and Brady, hey man, I can't find him. We tried. I don't know where he's at. And they were gone. And I was like, I hope everything's all good.
Right.
Because I couldn't find him anymore. And turns out they had missed their start time.
Yeah.
And got called up earlier in line. So I found that out when interviewing them the next few days.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. They said that when they were futzing with that when they showed up at like the back of the line, right, that they pretty much got ushered to the front of the line real quick.
Yep. Yeah.
That's an interesting move by Ultra4, in my opinion, that they would just shimmy somebody up the line. I don't know why they wouldn't start somebody else. Like, you missed your time, you're at the back.
Yeah. I kind of agree. But
unless they had an open slot.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe they had one.
They're like, okay, we can just get you up here.
Yeah.
So. But in the episode, they said that he just, Brady just squeezed the ramps really
the crap
tight
out of it. Yeah.
And then eventually it popped in.
Yep.
And popped where it needed to be.
Yeah. So, after I got back,
what happened with Amber?
After I got back running around, I went back and the Rugged guys were not there. And I was like,
weren't around Amber's car?
They weren't around Amber's car. And I was like, where are they? And Amber goes, they ran back to go get an interface cable. And I was like, perfect. Thank you. And so they showed back up maybe 2 minutes later, and credit to those guys. Those dudes hustled. They ran around and put in effort to do this for Amber. So that was cool. And so they got the interface cable in and everything worked beautifully after that. I was like,
good.
Cool. Good job.
Could have been done with that half an hour earlier, but
yeah, maybe 20 minutes. Yeah. Anyways, I was like, all right, well, that's all good. Everything's as good as it's going to be now. We have comms. The car's in as good of condition as it's going to be. which was pretty good condition. And I was like, well, let's see how this goes. See if we can get a Samurai across the line this year.
Good luck.
Yeah. So she got their start. I went back to camp to watch the rest of the day and kind of hunker down in the tent to run comms all day. So pretty much I was keeping track of her racing tracker, as well as keeping tabs on all the pits and keeping updates on other people around her that we wanted to either keep an eye on or know, hey, there's a car coming up behind you. Just be aware as you're going into King's Veto or going into Clawhammer or whatever, that there might be a car coming to try and pass you or get on your ass or something.
Who was her passenger this year?
She had 2.
Oh.
So Tom Liu, I think, was the first one. I don't know his background, but it sounds like he's very into desert racing.
Okay.
Go fast desert racing stuff. And so he has
during
a race.
The first lap, it's a lot of desert racing.
So he was her passenger, her co-driver for the first lap. Second lap was her brother, Stuart.
Okay. Yeah.
So Stuart got to jump in for all the rocks.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's been her passenger before.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. So they work really well together. She had a really super clean day. She clocked, I think, 57 miles an hour was her top speed at one point.
Nice.
In the Samurai on 35s.
Yeah.
So it was impressive.
Scooting.
It was good, man. And so, yeah, it was just funny to watch because they had her pulled up on the screen at one point and she was like dodging and dipping and diving and driving through the 4,800 cars.
Wow.
So like they were getting hung up in the canyons and she was just like, bleep, 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 bleep.
She was weaving in between them.
Dodge, duck, dipping, diving and dodging and weaving right through them all.
Yeah. She's throwing wrenches at them.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was really fun to watch her when she came up on the live feed. She did get a lot of airtime on the live feed, which is pretty cool. And eventually it got to the point they closed course at 6 p.m.
Oh.
And so with corrected time, Amber's close time where she's officially kind of clocked out was 6:42 p.m. Because she started 42 minutes after the start of the race, right? So with corrected time, she had until technically 6:42 to finish.
Okay.
She made it further than she's ever had in the past before her cutoff time, but she was so close to the finish that she didn't stop on course and come back to camp. She was like, I'm going to finish this.
Yeah.
And so she ended up like she was getting through. She was 2 miles past Aftershock, and pretty much past Aftershock, you just go on a big desert lap out and around Melville and everything, Emerson and Melville, and then back through Turkey Claw and then come into town. All that she had left was just the go fast section through Emerson Lake Bed and Melville Lake Bed and then Turkey Claw and come into town. So we were all thinking she's literally like 25, 30 minutes from finishing this race.
At what time was that?
6:42.
Okay.
At her cutoff time.
Yeah.
And so she just said, we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
And so she kept going, made it through Emerson beautifully. No problem. It's a giant lake bed. And then in between Emerson and Melville, there's this giant sand hill. And she had some issues there.
Oh,
She
really?
just has no power to get up the sand hill. Yeah.
Is that on the backside of Turkey Claw?
No, it's more like on the backside of like Spooner's and Outer Limits where that sand hill is.
Got it.
So, but they came around, made it through that. They spent an extra like half hour at that sand hill.
Just trying to get up
it and working their way to get up it. And then went across Melville. And then as they're coming across Melville, Dolly goes, the race course is cold. There's going to be a shit ton of people out playing in Turkey Claw right now.
Yeah.
And so we're like, oh, that could be bad if Amber's coming down Turkey Claw.
Yeah.
And everybody's going up Turkey Claw. So Dolly took 7 rigs out to Turkey Claw, stopped all the traffic in Turkey Claw
when she was coming through
to let Amber come through.
Wow.
And like, I was like, that seems like a bad idea out there.
Luck. Yeah.
I was like, the crowd can turn on you quick out there if you're not letting people wheel when they can be wheeling, quote unquote. But what was really freaking cool about it was Dolly got down there and started explaining to everybody, hey, we're going to cut it off just for like 20, 30 minutes to let Amber Turner come through in her Samurai. Once everybody heard that, everybody like started clearing the trail quick.
Oh, cool.
And was like super on board with it. And so everybody cleared the trail. Amber came down Turkey Claw and there was people spectating up at the top, in the middle, at the bottom, cheering her on as she's coming through Turkey Claw. So all she had to do then was go from there up over the saddle and into town.
Yeah.
Around Kings Hill into town. And while she's setting up to come in Turkey Claw, Race Ops got on the radio and was like, hey, is there anybody out there from Amber Turner's team? So I came back. I was like, hey, yeah, this is Tyler. I'm running the comms for Amber this year. What's up? And they're like, hey, we're just kind of curious. Is Amber going to be coming back through town? Or it looks like she's off course over near Turkey Claw. And I was like, nope, she's on course coming through Turkey Claw right now. We actually have, we're clearing Turkey Claw for her currently to let her get through quickly. And they were like, oh, that's super cool. Like Race Ops was all into it. Like, so is she going to be coming into town and everything? I was like, yep, that's the plan. And she's moving good. The rig is still in great shape. So our plan is she's going to come and cross that finish line. And so Race Ops was like, that's amazing. We're going to get all we're having a volunteer meeting right now. We're going to empty the volunteer booth and have all the volunteers come out and give her a crowd. We're going to turn the lights back on in the short course. And we're going to get somebody out there with a checkered flag for her too.
No way.
I was like, that's freaking cool.
How rad.
Yeah. So Amber ended up crossing the line right around 8:30.
Okay.
So 8:30 p.m.-ish, right around there. And what's funny is there was a 392 Jeep JL in the stock class. Mm-hmm. It finished like 45 seconds to a minute before her. And so he came through and there's this big crowd there, but like nobody was really cheering it at all.
You're right.
And then he was just coming off the course and kind of leaving the short course area as Amber started coming through. And then the crowd and everybody there just erupted.
Yeah. So
I was like, Jeep 392s, nothing.
Yeah. 4-cylinder Samurai.
Yeah. And so the other thing was Amber, as she was coming through, she had the horn blared on. And it's still the stock horn. So it's like, me, me. She's driving through the finish line.
She doesn't have a Wayland or something?
No. Oh, God. It was so funny. So anyways, she got to go up on stage and the people that were still hanging around the fire in Hammertown immediately came over to the stage. And it was really cool to see Amber and the Samurai cross the line. Granted, it was technically after closing time, but it was still way before a lot of the 4,400 cars finished. But I mean, technically they're doing 3 laps instead of 2, but it was just cool.
That's rad.
It was a really rad moment.
Good for her.
So, congrats to Amber and Dolly and Eric and everybody that had anything to do with Amber's team on Friday. It was a really cool day. So
yeah, Friday
was just celebrating, hanging out, having a good time. On the way off stage, I reached into the monster bucket. There's a monster bucket there with a bunch of monsters in it, pulled one out, and a bunch of people were as we were coming off stage. And so we hung around down there afterwards for a while.
Yeah.
Talking, letting Amber talk with fans, and we're, pit crews are talking amongst ourselves. And I open up this monster and take a drink of it. And I was like, that's a really watered down monster. What the hell is that? And I look at the can and it's water. It's Monster Water. Tour Water is what it's called. And it was super disappointing.
Oh, the volume's down.
So yeah, I was
that was funny.
Well, that's kind of bullshit. So I started asking everybody. I was like, did you get Monster or did you get Tour Water? And so like only one person that had reached into that bucket got a Monster. Everybody else got Tour Water. We were all disappointed.
Probably only put the waters in there after hours so that randos like you grab water.
Probably. Yeah, that'd be my guess too. So yeah, I thought that was pretty funny and ending to the day. And then Saturday was 4,400 day. I pretty much sat back and just kind of relaxed all day and let Nick Bailey was kind of in charge of comms and timing of everything for Slauson, Randy's team.
Yeah.
And so I let them have free reign of the repeater because we couldn't get the Wix radios set up.
Oh.
And so I was just told Nick, I said, hey, what we did was we had all the pit crews on the repeater and then whoever was closest reached out to the car. And I'm pretty sure that's what they did. And it sounded like that's what they were doing. And it was working out great. What I found entertaining about listening to Randy Slauson's pit crews and their pit communications was they were looking for very different data and information than what we were looking for with Amber's team.
What would be some contrast?
So like with Amber's team, we're looking at, oh, Amber hasn't moved in 20 minutes. Let's figure out what's going on, right?
Right.
She's stuck. Is it traffic or is she broken? What parts does she need? At one point, Amber flopped the samurai and claw hammer, I think it was.
Okay.
And so as soon as they got it back righted and started moving again, I was able to hit her back on the radio once they were in the rig. And she was like, hey, I need oil. We need engine oil. We need a back rear tire, and we need water for us and some power steering fluid. And I was like, cool. So I relayed that to RP2 and they're like, cool, awesome. And I said, I'll let you know once they're over the top of Fisher. And that way you guys should be able to start reaching them directly, and you can guide them into pit 2 and get them all that stuff. Cool. It worked great. So that was like the example of our radio comms.
Yeah.
Randy's team is like, all right, Jason Shearer is ahead by 12 minutes right now in physical time with corrected time. He's only like 5 minutes ahead. So Randy, you're roughly 5 minutes behind winning this race.
Yeah.
So the whole time they're just talking about corrected times and how hard Randy needs to push the vehicle in order to have a chance at winning the race.
Yeah.
And so like, that's all they're doing I was like, they never once really had a concern about, hey, we need this more parts for the vehicle. We may need this coming in. How's Randy doing? The driver. Yeah. None of that ever really came over the repeater. It was all, hey, everybody, we need this pit stop to be less than 30 seconds. Like, I was like, oh, it's just an interesting contrast for the communications.
Well, somebody's racing.
Yeah, right.
And somebody's trying to survive.
Exactly. Yes, it's a very different perspective of it all. And so that was fun to listen to and kind of play along with the corrected time game with them, but like not, I don't know, just listening in and then also trying to figure out the corrected times based on the trackers that I was viewing and the live feed, and then keeping track of, how long Jason Shearer's pit stops were versus how long Raul's pit stops were. And the Blylers, how long their pit stops were, and how far behind is everybody on corrected time, and does Randy have enough time to pick it up? And eventually what they did was the last part of the race, Randy was 7 minutes behind the Blylers. But he was like 12 to 15 minutes behind Shearer and Gomez.
Right. Okay.
And so they just told Randy that, and then Randy gets to make the decision on if he wants to go balls to the wall with the car to see how much time he can make up and get back up into the podium, or if he wants to try and conserve the car or what. And I guess he tried to go balls to the wall, and coming out of Turkey Claw, he hit a rock that was just sticking up out of the sand and hit that and just completely obliterated the rear drive line.
Oh no.
So he came into camp, I think, in front wheel drive only into the finish line.
Wow.
But otherwise he had a clean race all day long. Things were going great for him. He started in 28th overall and finished in 5th, I think.
Dang.
Is what it came down to. And he was passing people left and right in the rocks.
I'm sure.
The freaking bomber chassis it's really fun to watch somebody who knows those chassis get through the rocks in race speed.
Oh yeah. I mean, he knows those chassis.
Oh yes, he does. So
the few times that I've actually seen him out on the trail, he just knows how to work that car well.
It's super impressive. Yeah.
He knows if he's going to make it. He'll get to a point where he doesn't even need to spin a tire. He's just, nope, not that way. Okay, let's back up and go this way.
He can feel when things are binding, and he's like, no, that's not going to work there.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's pretty cool to watch him work. And so what was really fun about Saturday was the end to the race. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
didn't. I wasn't watching it live at that point, but
okay.
I did watch it.
You did watch the ending though?
Yeah.
That was, I think, one of the closest endings they've ever had.
Sure.
For a 4,400 race.
I believe it.
Jason Shear out in front all day long. And Raul Gomez, there was 2 incidences that happened that made Raul win that race.
Okay.
Because Raul came in physical second place.
Correct.
But on corrected time, he ended up like a minute.
Yep.
Barely a minute in before Shear did in time.
Right. In time corrections. Yeah.
So there was 2 critical things that happened.
Okay.
One, at main pits, Jason Shear stopped for like 6.5, 7 minutes.
Oh, wow.
They had a little bit of a hiccup, an issue with something that they were trying to diagnose. And so his pit stop at main pits was 6.5, 7 minutes.
Okay.
Raul Gomez's stop at main pits was 2.5 minutes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So 5
There's
minutes
5
saving
minutes, right? Yeah.
The other big thing, which I just thought was awesome, Darian Gomez, who is Raul's son, broke down up near Sledgehammer somewhere during the day. And what he did was he left the car wherever it was. I forget where it broke down, but he left the car and hiked over to Sledgehammer and waited at Plaque Line for Raul to come through. And so when Raul came through, he immediately ran down and grabbed the winch line from Raul, hooked up the winch, and Raul was through Plaque Line super quickly.
Right.
And so that saved him. If Raul had to get out and do the winching himself at Plaque Line, it would have cost him 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So like those two incidences right there gave him the win over Shear that day.
Right. Yeah. So racers can help racers.
Uh-huh.
And until you declare yourself out of the race, you're still in the race.
Yeah.
And so Darian didn't declare himself out of the race. So he went over to Sledge. He helped another racer, which happened to be his team,
his dad,
and got him up the line. And then he probably is like, yeah, I'm officially out of the race now that my dad's through here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool.
It was pretty freaking cool. So those two instances,
it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was last year that something similar happened. One of the Gomez's comes running up the course and ran into back door and sat there and watched a few cars come through. And then another one of the Gomez's vehicles came up and they hooked the winch up right away. And then at first I was like, who's this person on course? This guy needs to get off course. What the hell's going on? And then I realized it was another racer. It was one of the Gomez's.
Mm-hmm.
And it helped the rig get up back door.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy just walked away.
Yeah.
Probably walked back to main pit or whatever. So that was, I've saw something similar happen last year, the year before.
And that's one of the cool things about King of the Hammers and that race in particular is that the racers can help each other. So it adds another element of camaraderie, another element of fun, another element of strategy possibly into the race.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Another cool story from 4400 Day was the Campbells.
Okay. I don't know much about this story.
So both Bailey Campbell and Waylon Campbell's cars had motor issues.
Oh.
And they ended up not racing on race day.
Okay.
So and freaking Bailey Campbell, I think she went back to Arizona. She went back to Arizona once to grab the new engine and put it in the race car and bring it back out.
Wow.
To Johnson Valley.
Okay.
Wayland did the same thing or tried to do the same thing, but he couldn't get it back and set up back in the car in time. So he just drove back without the car.
Okay.
To Johnson Valley. So Bailey has got her replacement engine in her car back at Johnson Valley. I think like the evening before the race, and she's still something else happened. Either transmission or engine happened again. And so she's officially out. She's not going to be racing her car for 4400. Levi Shirley, one of his pre-running cars is Waylon's old car.
Oh, okay.
And so Levi Shirley was like, well, I got my Waylon's old car here. If you guys want to race it, you guys can get together, and it's a 1-seater car. So they'd have to take turns, but you guys can take this car and race for the day and have a fun day.
Oh, cool.
And so Bailey started the race and did the desert lap in Levi Shirley's car, which is Waylon's old car.
Okay. Yeah.
And then she came in. Wayland did the first rock lap. So lap 2 of the race. And then Bailey's co-driver in her car ran the second rock lap, the third lap of the race.
Oh.
So
So who did lap 1?
Bailey did.
Bailey, then Waylon, then Bailey's co-driver.
Yes, who I forget his name. But Bailey has a 2-seater car, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and she has a 2-seater car. And Waylon has a 1-seater car.
Isn't Terry Madden?
Terry has done co-driving with Bailey before,
but it
wasn't this year.
Got it.
And so, and so this was the first time that Bailey's ever raced in a 1-seater car.
Yeah. Okay.
And so she goes, it was really interesting. You're on your own. You're by yourself. You don't get the camaraderie, the talking to keep you focused on the race. It's all you.
Right. Yeah.
And so she said that was an interesting experience, but because of the generosity and camaraderie with Levi Shirley, Bailey and Wayland and Bailey's co-driver all still got to race that day.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And the car came in and finished too.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. Yeah.
They'll probably need some repair, but
probably
or love or some sort, but that's cool.
Yeah,
that's really nice of them.
That was another really cool story from the day. Our buddy Trent Roberts and Jay Barry, they raced on EMC day.
Yep.
They've ended up finishing 20th overall.
Yeah.
So,
well, 20th in their class.
20th in their class.
26th overall.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah, that makes sense. So 20th in their class, 26th overall. So that was really cool to see them come through like that.
Yeah, I talked to Trent a little bit.
Justin Wicks co-drove with Woody Rose
for
EMC day.
EMC day. Okay.
And they came in 5th.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did he come in? What did Justin
was it third?
Finish?
It was a 5th or 3rd. I don't remember.
I don't remember what he did I don't remember what he did either day, but
on 4400 day, Justin was driving with his dad in the Bora car, and they came in 20th or 21st.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I believe that's right.
And what's crazy to me is the first car for 4400 day. So Sheer, the first physical cross, got in at 145. I think it was 130, 145.
Okay.
And it was a brutal course this year. The rock trails that they had to do twice were a brutal choice this year. And let's see, Justin came in 20th at like 10 p.m., something like that.
Wow.
So from 145, 130-ish to 10 p.m., only 20 cars roughly came in.
That's nuts.
So
wow.
Supposedly the final count from what I heard on race on 4400 day, 107 cars started the race. Only 30-ish finished.
That's crazy. That's King of the Hammers though.
That's crazy.
That is the nutrition rate. Once again, you like now, actually it sounds like now we're finally getting to the point where you're racing racers.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So if we're having to finish within 1 minute of each other.
Yeah.
Right. And on corrected time. That's pretty nuts.
Yep.
But we're losing over 30%, over 60% of the cars.
Still. Yeah.
Due to the racing.
Yeah.
Due to the race course.
Yes.
So the majority of people are racing the course. There's a few select people that are racing the racers.
Dude. Yeah. That finish with Sheer and Gomez is one for the history books. The Bleilers were still, I want to say, like 10, 15 minutes behind. And then Slauson was pretty darn close to the Bleilers. So like all the top
front wheel drive.
On front wheel drive, yeah. So like the top 5 all came in within half an hour, 20 minutes of each other. And then number 6 came in an hour behind Slauson.
Wow.
So it's just a crazy race, man. It's absolutely insane what those guys do out there. And I have nothing but respect for them. But at the same time, like, I could never do that.
No.
Yeah.
I had ideas of thinking about racing or wanting to build a truck to race. I don't know if I really want to though.
It's crazy. It's insane. Especially after hearing Brady and Nestor's story of everything they had to get through going there. And then on the way back, they lost another tire in Arizona.
Yeah. And a fender.
And a fender flew off the car, the race car.
And they were live streaming the DEF thing broke or something.
Those poor guys, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, their DEF tank broke in one of their tow rigs. So they had to replace a DEF tank on the side of a highway too on their way back home. So
that's nuts.
Oh, man. Just the stuff that these people go through to do this is just absolutely crazy. So yeah, huge respect for everybody out there.
Oh, for real, right? Yeah, that's crazy. Well, it sounded like you had a great time.
It was a great week, man. Yeah, I did a turkey claw at night, which was fun. I forgot to tell that. It was neat because somebody pulled up behind me that was a listener. And so he came up, he goes, "Hey man, I'm a big fan of the podcast. I think it was Rick. Pretty sure it was Rick. So shout out to Rick. We'll go with Rick. He knows who he is. If you came up and said hi to me in Turkey Claw, he knows who he is.
Your name's now Rick.
But I had to take a hard line to get through Turkey Claw because it was just such a big backup on the easy line. I was like, forget this. So I took the center line to get through the squeeze area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I didn't quite go for the buggy line on the left. I was looking at it and I was like, I think I could make the ledge there, but those big ass rocks on the other side, I don't know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's a gnarly line.
Yeah. But it was cool getting through Turkey Claw with Horton because he knows where a really cool lookout spot is.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went up and hung out on that lookout spot for about half an hour, just kind of looking over the lake bed at nighttime there.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Found that a new lookout spot at night. And then to finish off Saturday, me and Derek from the Total Off-Road podcast.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. He was hanging out kind of in the Saturday evening and throughout the week too. But I went with him and Radmigo.
Yeah.
Up to the top of Fisher to collect the repeater.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Radmigo tagged Snail Trail 4, said it was great to hang out with Tyler.
Yeah.
From Snail Trail 4x4 and tagged me. And I was like, oh, I wasn't there. But
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
cool. Glad you got to meet them.
Yeah. They're really cool. I was a little slightly concerned about how Derek's Chevy was going to do going up Fisher just because it's a long vehicle and there's some tight turns in there, but it did great. Cool. No problems whatsoever. Good. He could be a little faster in the desert though.
Shots fired, Derek.
Shots fired. Yeah. This was the first year I've been out there with bump stops on all four corners. Holy crap.
Makes a difference.
You can get going good in the desert when you have bump stops. I think I hit 55, 60 miles an hour across that little dried up lake bed area between where you're coming around the Fisher mountain range and then going back to the wash.
Okay.
There's like that little section there as you're cutting around it. It's a wash or dried up lake area. And I think I hit like 55, 60 miles an hour going through there, which was fun.
You're booking.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like Jay Berry.
Yeah. Right. So anyways, a lot of fun. Derek can go faster in the desert. You don't have to work on that, buddy. But I also told Derek that he needs to come over and get into some blue granite for the summer.
Oh, he wants to.
Yeah.
He was on Wheeling Wine and Whiskey podcast and he's like, I want to go. When can we go? Let's do it. And they're like, it's under snow right now.
Then come out and do some snow wheeling. Yeah. So anyways, I think this is the last trip for the 4Runner.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be looking at dropping it off at Ori's in the next couple of weeks to start the teardown.
Nice.
So
are you going to be doing any of the teardown with him?
I'm going to try and do some of the teardown or at least some of the reconstruction with him.
Cool. Okay.
But it's just, I'm going to have to go up on weekends.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's going to want me in the way.
Sure.
Right. That's the big thing. He knows a lot more than I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I want to go up and help with it, but I don't want to be in the way.
Right.
So
I'm sure we'll hear all about that and hear the stories and how that is going here in the near future in the next few episodes.
Yep. Pretty much. So we'll give updates on that soon. And I think we're going to have an update for the intro on the podcast here too for everybody soon. So
maybe.
So I'm excited after playing around and kind of getting a taste of going fast through the desert. I'm excited to see how coilovers and air bump stops on linked suspension
how it
works.
Changes. Yeah, that'll be really interesting.
Much wider axle, so better stability and a little bit longer wheelbase. It's going to be really interesting, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be a big change, I believe.
Yeah. So anyways, cool stuff. That was kind of my recap. It was a really fun week. I'm very, very happy that Sean came down and ran the booth. It just made the time down there actually enjoyable rather than just always freaking out about what I'm supposed to be doing next.
Yeah.
So having time to just enjoy, sit back and relax and really hang out with everybody too. That was one thing I've never really done in the past either because I'm always doing stuff.
Right.
Is I don't really get to sit down and hang out with people. And so that was a lot of fun getting to sit down and hang out with people more. So,
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's glad to hear. It sounds like you had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I missed it for some personal reasons, but it's, it is what it is. And I'll probably be going down next year. And I did state, I don't remember if I was on air with Hustle Nuts or not, but I'm really going to try to go to Trail Hero this year.
Ooh.
That's going to be my other big trip besides Cruise Moab.
Besides Cruise Moab too? Yeah. We're definitely doing Cruise Moab. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make Trail Hero work or not with the schedule of everything. it's just going to, I think, depend on where we're at with product launches and
Sure.
and busyness with Morphlite.
Yeah.
So.
Understood.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's awesome. Sounds like it was a great time. If anybody out there has any questions for Tyler about King of the Hammers, you can always find him over on Instagram at 4x4 Toyota Tyler. You can message us anytime at Jimmy or Tyler at snailtrail4x4.com. If you want to chat with me about non-King of the Hammers things, you can do that over on Instagram at snailtrail4x4. And if you want to call in and tell us some stories from King of the Hammers, you can do that at 916-345-4744.
Awesome. I like it, man. So yeah, we love hearing from everybody. Make sure you get in contact with us. So we love seeing you guys out at events like KOH. I got to see a lot of listeners. So it was a lot of fun to say hi to everybody.
Yeah, that is a good plus about going out to events.
Yeah.
Is interaction.
Yep. So with that, Jimmy, final words for everybody out there today.
I really wanted to go camping this last weekend while everybody was down at King of the Hammers. I'm sure I would have had all the campgrounds to myself.
And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
Ready for jokes?
Actually, I have two.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Valentine's Day jokes, since we're sitting here recording on Valentine's Day, even though when you listen to this, it will be past.
Mm-hmm.
What did the couple say after getting struck by Cupid's arrow?
Ouch.
Yeah, that was it. Good job.
Good job. Yay.
Got one finally. How can you save money on Valentine's Day gifts?
Don't buy any?
Yep, be single.
Be single. Here's a good one for Valentine's Day.